Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have a bunch of updates to share about the January 6th investigation. So first, Rudy Giuliani met with the January 6th Select Committee last week, and he said to have spent approximately 9 hours with them. Now, do I think that there's a prayer in hell that Giuliani was honest? No, absolutely not. What I'm hoping for is that other witnesses may have already outed him. And so his testimony would then be the final nail in his coffin, because what he's telling them doesn't jive with what other people have told them. Next up, you guys may recall Democratic Congresswoman Mickey Sherrill. She made a video shortly after January 6th. And in that video, she said that she witnessed, quote, reconnaissance tours at the Capitol on the eve of the attack. She also said that the tours stood out because COVID was so widespread. It was so prevalent at that time. So no one was actually allowed to provide tours of the Capitol. Of course, Republicans were all up in arms. They started denying it right away. And in fact, the Committee on House Administration issued a letter to the January 6th Select Committee in which they stated, quote, there were no tours, no large groups, no one with MAGA hats on. Well, on Friday afternoon of last week, news broke that the January 6th committee sent a letter asking Georgia Republican lawmaker Barry Loudermilk to meet with them to discuss a Capitol tour that he allegedly gave the day before the attack. The letter that they sent to Loudermilk states, quote, based on our review of evidence in the Select Committee's possession, we believe you have information regarding a tour you led through parts of the Capitol complex on January 5, 2021. Republicans on the Committee on House Administration, of which you are a member, claim to have reviewed security footage from the days preceding January 6th and determined that there were no tours, no large groups, no one with MAGA hats on. However, the Select Committee's review of evidence directly contradicts the denial. This is significant because not only does Loudermilk sit on that committee, as they mentioned, but he personally issued a statement and he refuted Congresswoman Sherrill's allegations. He wrote in his letter, quote, no Republican member of Congress led any kind of reconnaissance tours through the Capitol, proven by security footage captured by the U.S. Capitol Police. But Loudermilk's story is now evolving. Now, instead of a flat-out denial about Capitol tours being provided, Loudermilk issued a new statement, and he said, quote, a constituent family with young children meeting with their member of Congress in the House office buildings is not a suspicious group or reconnaissance tour. The family never entered the Capitol building. The facts speak for themselves. No place that the family went on the 5th was breached on the 6th. The family did not enter the Capitol grounds on the 6th, and no one in that family has been investigated or charged in connection to January 6th. It's never a good sign when someone's story keeps changing, when new evidence surfaces. And the fact that he kept this so-called constituent tour under wraps for more than a year is more than suspicious. Why didn't he mention it before? And of course, the obvious question is, why was his constituent in DC on January 5th, if not for Trump's rally. Remember, this guy represents Georgia. Georgia is a little bit of a drive from DC. So it's not like, oh, we just happened to be in the neighborhood and thought we'd swing by. And we also know it's not as if families with children didn't take part in the Capitol attack. So the fact that he points out that it was a family with children doesn't mean anything. In fact, one January 6th defendant, you guys might remember, received a more severe sentence because she took her child into the Capitol with her. And anyone who's been following my show for any length of time knows there have been quite a few families who took part in the attempted insurrection. In addition to Loudermilk's statement, the Republican Party is now making a big stink about this. They're making all kinds of noise about, oh, we need to release the Capitol surveillance footage. No one said that Loudermilk was seen on surveillance footage. They didn't say what evidence they had. For all we know, it could have been someone on this alleged tour that ratted him out. It could be someone who was arrested for January 6th, who gave up information in a plea and a cooperation deal. They may have photos on their phone showing that they were with Loudermilk at the Capitol. And when the FBI seized it for the January 6th investigation, maybe they saw photos. Maybe they saw video. They didn't say what it was. But this is what the Republican Party does. These are the red herrings that they throw out there as decoys. And then it gives their base a talking point. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the question at hand. But they know their base is never, ever going to take the time to research the issues. So they're just going to run with it. You know, here's an idea. If Loudermilk is truly innocent, and this is all just a big misunderstanding, he should go meet with the January 6th committee. And if he refuses, then I guess we all know what that means, don't we? I, for one, am really looking forward to the next iteration of his story, since it's evolving quickly. So the next update has to do also with the Select Committee and their hearings. According to The Guardian, the committee plans to hold 6 public hearings. That's it. Between June 9th and June 23rd, they're going to hold 6 hearings. The first hearing and the final hearing will be held at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And the other 4 hearings will be held at 10 a.m. Eastern. Why only 6 hearings? How many Benghazi hearings did the greedy, oppressive predators hold? This case is far more complex, and they've been investigating for how long? And why can't they all be held at night? Everyone needs to see these hearings. I get that the majority of the cult portion of the Republican Party, they're not strong enough. They're not secure enough to see the truth. They'd really prefer not to know. They'd really rather to keep their heads buried deep inside of Trump's ass because they don't want to know the truth. But there are a lot of other Republican voters out there who, although, you know, I may not agree with their politics, I don't agree with their conservative beliefs, they do live in reality and they do want to know what actually happened. So you have to make it easy for them to consume. You can't expect them to tune in to MSNBC or CNN and watch the Cliff Notes version after the fact. And God knows faux news channel, quote unquote, isn't going to share without massive edits, right? Without massively editing what actually took place to make it look like Trump was exonerated again. I'll let you know when I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.